Hello. The year was 1974, or maybe 75. Yeah, it was 75 probably. And my friend and I, we were roommates. We lived in San Francisco, just outside downtown. It was an old apartment building, well maintained, nice people living in there, including us, of course. And we shared a one bedroom flat apartment, Jayant and I, and Jayant and we had a friend. Her name was Connie. She lived upstairs on the second floor. One night, this must be at about 1:30 or 2 in the morning, early morning. Uh, Jayant was fast asleep, and I was listening to Ravi Shankar. I still remember I had bought a brand new record, long play record of Ravi Shankar. And if I'm not mistaken, the rag he was playing was Jansan Mohini. Never heard it before, and I was enjoying it. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. It was our manager. He said, "Jay, you guys get out. There is a fire in the building." I said, "Whoa." That was my first experience with fire ever. So I was up. I didn't have to wake up. I didn't feel groggy. I just turned the music off. I said, "Jan," woke him up. And he said, "Yes." I said, "There is a fire and we are supposed to get out." He said, "Okay." So we switched the lights off. And I was in my, pajamas, and so was he, t-shirt and pajamas. And we just got the heck out of the flat and got on the street. Usually in San Francisco, you walk and then there is a series of steps to get on the street level. So we walked down. While we are going down, there were 2 or 3 vehicles blaring with siren came right at the spot. One was an ambulance, another one was a rescue car, and the third one, 10, 10, 10, 10, was the fire brigade, fire engine. They came in and just people started pouring out of it, the workers, the volunteers or whatever you call them, and they just got into the building, asked us to, people were coming out of the building. We were on the ground floor, so we were the first to get out, and everybody else was slowly coming out. People were sleepy, groggy, rubbing their eyes. We hardly had kids. I don't think there was any children in the flat. They were just adults. Anyway, we noticed that Connie, our friend, she was missing. She wasn't there. And we knew that she was home because we had met earlier in the evening and had supper together. And then she went home. She went upstairs to her room, and rather her flat, and we went in ours. So I just went to to one of the people and I said, "Look, we have a friend in apartment 12 upstairs, and we don't see her." He said, "You sure she's in there?" I said, "Yeah, for all practical, for all we know, she's there. We met a little earlier in the evening, etc., etc." So he said, "Okay." So they were checking all the apartments anyway. They were all supposed to keep them open. The jet of water, and it's just the whole thing was amazing. We had never seen it. We were excited, and also, of course, a little worried that we might lose everything we had. And then suddenly I turned towards Jayant and I said, "Jayant, I wish I had a cigarette." So he takes cigarettes out of his pocket and says, "Here." I said, "Wow, how did you remember to take cigarettes? I didn't." He said, "Well, that's one thing I wouldn't forget." He smoked Winston cigarettes and I smoked Pall Malls. But at that time, it didn't matter what cigarette it was. So we both lit up. Then there was this little ambulance type van, where rescue van. I don't know what they call it here, but they used to call it rescue van, and there was a nice long body, and there were a couple of attendants there. They were waiting there, and somebody said, "You want some coffee?" I said, "Sure," you know. So we go there, and people were already getting some coffee, some were getting sandwiches. And I said, "What the hell is happening here?" He said, "Oh, we keep food, we keep coffee, we keep milk, we keep baby formula milk, you know, like 2 or 3 different kinds, the most popular ones. Then they had slippers, you know, if you come out barefooted, then they would give you slippers so that you don't feel cold. They had socks, they had gloves. You hardly need them in San Francisco, but you still, you know, they still had their blankets. They had so many different things for a person who is coming out suddenly from his building to take care of. It's amazing. So we declined sandwiches, but we did have coffee and we had cigarettes. And I just jokingly asked, "Do you guys have cigarettes?" So he just smiled. He said, "Not here, but here. Have mine." I said, "No, thank you. We have it." Oh, and there was playing cards. They even had playing cards. I said, "Why do you have?" He said, "Sometimes, you know, you have to wait and wait and wait. And we like people to be engaged in doing something. That'll keep them busy." While we were doing all this and exploring this van, the manager came out, you know, and said, "Guys, everything is okay." They have found out that there was an old mattress which was lying in the alley on the side. It caught fire. Somebody probably threw a cigarette butt. And so it's been doused and everything is fine. You guys can go back to your apartment. While we were saying that, totally sleepy Connie just walked out like a zombie. He said, "What happened? Why are we all doing this?" I said, "Connie, we had a fire." I said, "Oh, really? I didn't smell anything." I said, "Yeah, but everything is fine. You good? Do you want some coffee?" She said, "No, thank you." Cigarettes, yes. So all 3 of us smoked cigarettes and waited a little longer for everything to just disperse. Everybody just went back to their rooms. Our room being on the ground floor and being on the same side the fire had started from, had a little bit of water on our carpet. And I remember it took a few days for the darn thing to dry out. But otherwise, we were all fine. We had no problems in the building. But the best thing is, then the manager was telling us the next day that just before he locked our apartment door, you know, there are 3 on each floor, and his was the first one, then we, and then there was a third one, 3 of us. We were the first one actually, after his own. He knocked at. He had just called on his landline. There was no cell phone then. He had called 911 and said that we have fire in apartment number so and so, building number so and so, street number. And within 3 minutes, the rescue team and the fire engine and the ambulance there at 3 minutes. And then he was telling us that San Francisco is one of the fastest cities to respond to fire because of their wooden buildings and because of whatever. But they are very, very prompt, very efficient. 3 or 4 minutes maximum, they would be there. Isn't that amazing? I was, reading about our Surat tragedy, and I couldn't help compare the service we experienced in San Francisco in 1975 compared to what we had in 2019. I know it's a rich country, America. I know we have a lot of people here, lot more people than we have. But still, it's never forget. I will never forget that scene with the van standing there with lots of food and everything. Amazing. Anyway, take care. Bye bye.